Hi everyone, here we are in my garden. In this video today you'll find out what that gravel's for. There are lots of things that I'm going to be tackling this week, including planting these house leeks in this trough which sits on my front windowsill. You've met my two cats, haven't you? This is Naomi and Dora enjoying the garden. You might be in by night time. Oh no, she's picking up the pace. And now it's my turn to have the girls, and I'm taking them to this bench at the back of the garden. It's another project I'm hoping to get finished before returning to work after the summer holidays. This is a project that I've given Ranj. He's busy. Well, you'll see what he's been up to later on. It's August and it's just raining ever so slightly. Hello girls, you want to come out in the rain? I know it's raining. No, she's going inside. This is what I'm working on today. I have come to the final decision as to the design of the garden, and this little area here, which is a circular bed. I have 3 circular beds, 2 of which have been divided into semicircles now. So this one beyond the olive is a wildflower, my mini wildflower meadow, and the other half of the circle is grass, which is going to be replaced by gravel. This circle here in front of my bench, I like to sit on my bench, I'm going to enlarge, so I'm going to fill that whole space with a circular design, again gravel filled, and I have some different varieties of thyme, just ordinary thyme and creeping thyme. I have a creeping rosemary as well. So it's predominantly going to be gravel with thyme growing through it, just because I couldn't bear to have nowhere green to dig my toes into in the summer. And sitting on that bench is where I like to do that. And following around to the back of the garden is another circle. I've divided it in half. Well, I haven't quite done it quite yet, but the steps leading up to the shed, that line is going to go sort of horizontally across that circle. And then where the grass is now is going to be gravel, and the remaining soil is going to be planted up. So this is where my grasses are going to go. My grasses and my acers. I had to remove a tree stump to have that area there where I could put the Japanese maple. It's my absolutely favourite bonsai I have, and I can look at it now from sitting on the bench or from further back in the garden. I've got a view of that now as well. So at some point over the next few days, this yucca will be planted into this pot. It should be much happier in there. The snails actually like the yucca. I was going to put it into the garden, but I think I can protect it better if it keeps in a pot. Yes, did I tell you what I've been using to deter the snails? Let me show you with my banana. Hold on. This is the banana plant. This is just wind damage. The leaves do split in a strong wind. But when I first planted it, I noticed that snails were loving it. Yummy, yummy. And I don't like using anything that's going to damage wildlife, so I discovered these slug pellets made of wool. And you put them on the little pellets and then they form a mat, and that apparently deters the slugs and the snails. And yeah, I definitely think it has worked. I wouldn't say you could put it around the whole garden, but in a pot here and there, really, really successful. I'm pleased I discovered that. I also have my shuttlecock fern on the patio, and I've got about three or four babies that have popped up, so I can transfer them. I think I'll put them into the tropical area as well. It's lovely getting plants for free, isn't it? Everything I planted in the garden is, let's just say, the snails don't enjoy to eat these plants. The tropical bed's really heating up with the addition of the canna. Something I did actually, which you haven't seen me do. Usually I just dig a hole and just plonk plants in, but ideally you should improve the soil. I haven't got very clayey soil here, very sandy soil. It's quite friable, but yeah, for the canna lily, if you can just see, I dug a big hole and put some multi-purpose compost in actually, and because the roots are fibrous. The tropical bed's really heating up with the addition of the canna, and when I have the ginger lily in this area here, that will spread and multiply, and yeah, can't wait. Finally, I'm done. It's about 6:30 at night. Yes, the ground is not level, but I'm not worried about that. I've dug it down a bit because I want to have a depth of the gravel that's going in there, so I had to reduce the height of the soil a bit. Like I say, it's not completely level, but it doesn't matter. Once it's topped up with gravel, it will be absolutely fine. And actually I've got different levels, slight levels within the garden, and I quite like that. It looks like it struck me, it actually looks like a pond in the making. And yes, I've always wanted a pond. It would look quite nice though, wouldn't it? But no, the practicalities of having a pond don't appeal to me just yet. But you know, who knows, in the future. I've got the shape ready, haven't I? This is how my gravel garden is looking today. I levelled out the soil a little bit and compacted it again. Then I popped to my local garden centre and bought some of this gravel. Now I must say, in one garden centre it was, let's just say, quite expensive. I popped to another and it was half the price, exactly the same product. And also there were these bags of split, or where the bags had split, and they put them into these other bags, and they were selling them £1, and it was the same weight actually. So that was less than half price. So all in all, I spent just £16.50 on the pea shingle. It needs washing, by the way. I've just literally just put it down. So that whole bed, £16.50, a bit of work from me. I still have some gravel left over, which I'm going to use to mix with some compost when I put some large plants in pots. Now to wash the gravel and then plant the thyme in. And it's completed. I've actually ordered a few little plug plants, a little bit more creeping thyme, and when they arrive I'll pop them in. But this is the finished result. I'm really pleased, and of course it's going to look very different when it spreads, when the thyme spreads. I'm glad I bought some fragrant thymes, because the creeping thyme here, these two pieces of creeping thyme, they're not that fragrant actually, but some of the other thymes, when I put my toes in them, will release a stronger scent. And I've also got a creeping rosemary which should have some blue flowers next year. And the rocks I've just repurposed from another part of the garden. So all in all, not a very expensive project, but a hugely satisfying one. The sun's out again today, and I did plan to paint the the back fence black, the new fence, but there's another job that needs to be done before I get the paintbrush out. Branches have been shredded, well, the twigs. Can't put branches in that are too thick because the machine's not an industrial one, it can't take it. While that's been going on, here I am, I've planted my tub. This will go at the front of my house on my bay windowsill, and it's a huge improvement from the dead lavender that was in it just a few minutes ago. This is the last day before I return to work. Some of you may know I'm a teacher, and yes, I've got to do some schoolwork tomorrow in preparation for returning. And I had one more thing I really wanted to get started. It's a long way from finished, but let me take you through what I have been up to at the end of my garden. I'm continuing with the theme of circles. Don't ask me why, I just like the look, and I think it works. I just like it. I can't really explain why. It just occurred to me one night when I had 3 circles of lawn actually, and now I'm changing them. So first of all, we have the largest of the circular beds has now been divided in half, and on this side are the wildflowers, which obviously are cut down now that it's nearly September. On the other side, the grass will be replaced by gravel. Then I have a circle here which is finished actually, so it's full of thyme which will spread, and this, I call it a bench. It was a eucalyptus tree that just outgrew the garden, and we decided to keep that so I can sit on there and have a cup of tea in the mornings when the sun hits that spot. It's amazing how even in a small space you can create little spaces to sit and contemplate, hide maybe. So as I'm sitting on my log seat, I'm shielded from the house by this lovely oleander, so I can just sit here, enjoy a little bit of privacy, and yeah, that'll be my bench for watching the sunset. And that Mexican orange, I pruned that fairly hard this year. I might actually take the top off it a little later on next year, because I want to do it in stages, and that should bush out and again provide that green screen. So when I'm sitting on that bench, yeah, I'm pretty much hidden. This is the smallest circle at the end of my garden. This is where I did have some wildflowers planted. Wildflowers that suit a shady spot, because it is under the shade of the tree. This bed will be filled with gravel. The wildflowers I've already moved onto this slope. I'm hoping they'll survive. They should be pretty hardy. Last of all, I just finished off this path. I just put the slabs into the soil. I don't use anything, no sand, nothing. I just put them in and just jump up and down on them a few times, and that seems to work. I've used that method for everything I've done, all the little paths I've laid and the brick circles. If the soil's quite compacted, it seems to do the job. And just those little pebbles I had lying around, they would look nice. Gosh, my knees are very, very muddy because I've just got these old gardening trousers on, and as you can see, they're a bit worse for wear. Oh, how wonderful, the sun's coming out just as I'm going in. It has been raining slightly, but you know, you can garden in the rain. I often do. It wasn't too heavy, it was really just a shower. And my favourite spot to sit, well, I better not sit down because I think I've got loads of mud on my bottom, is also another secluded spot right in the corner here, where you can just kind of look out onto the garden and enjoy.